The first time his lips brushed mine, I felt like my body had been set ablaze. His breath was warm, teasing, like a whisper that dared me to give in. His hands pressed firmly against the small of my back, pulling me closer, until the little space left between us disappeared. I knew what we were about to do was wrong, so wrong, but my body betrayed me before my conscience could stop me. My knees weakened, my pulse raced, and suddenly, all I wanted was to drown in the fire of his touch. "Stay with me tonight," he murmured against my lips, voice low, demanding but gentle. His eyes burned into me like flames that refused to be tamed. And in that moment, I wasn't a wife, I wasn't a mother, I wasn't the woman I was supposed to be. I was just a woman starving for something forbidden. But before I tell you how deep I fell, I need you to do me a favor. If you're listening right now, make sure you subscribe to this channel, give this story a like, and share it. Because trust me, what I'm about to confess isn't something you hear every day. It's a tale of lust, betrayal, and a kind of desire that doesn't fade, it scars. That night, when his lips pressed harder and his hands explored like they had every right to, I should have stopped him. But instead, I let myself go. I let the fire consume me. The truth is, this wasn't how it started. The burn, the betrayal, the ache, it all began long before that night. So let me take you back. Back to where his desire first touched me. Back to where my betrayal was born. I used to think I could handle fire. I thought I was strong enough to let his heat touch me without getting consumed. But the truth? His desire didn't just warm me, it burned me, from the inside out. And in that burning, I found a version of myself I wasn't ready to face. The night it all deepened started simple. A Friday evening, rain brushing against the glass windows of his downtown apartment. I remember walking in, my hair damp, my dress clinging to me, and his eyes drinking me in like I was his last glass of whiskey. "Stay," he said, not even caring about my umbrella dripping water onto his hardwood floor. And I stayed. Before I continue, if you're listening to this story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with someone who secretly craves forbidden love stories. Trust me, this ride is only getting hotter. He kissed me before I could even drop my bag. Rough, desperate, hungry. The kind of kiss that makes you forget what time it is, what day it is, even who you belong to. I melted under him, like wax surrendering to flame. But desire has a way of exposing truths we bury deep. As his hands traced the edges of my body, I wasn't just trembling with lust, I was trembling with guilt. Because while he burned for me, someone else waited at home, trusting me. In his arms, I felt alive. At home, I felt safe. But life, I was learning, doesn't let you hold both for long. We made love that night like it was the last night the world would allow us. His strength, his whisper, the reckless rhythm of two bodies colliding against a backdrop of thunder, it was unforgettable. But in the silence after, staring at the ceiling, I realized something. Desire was not enough to save me from the storm I was walking into. Because sooner or later, fire either dies down, or it destroys. And this fire? It was already licking the edges of my lies. Backhand index pointing right in the next chapter, I'll take you into the moment my betrayal stopped being a secret, at least in my heart. But before we go there, don't forget, like, subscribe, and keep following this story. Because this is more than just lust. It's the unraveling of everything I thought I could control. The first time his lips tasted mine after a lie, it was like fire on dry leaves. I remember pressing into him, my body aching for closeness while my mind screamed with guilt. I had just hung up from a call with my husband, telling him I was stuck in traffic, while in reality, I was stuck between my desires and my sins. His hands slid around my waist, firm and unrelenting, as if he knew my lies were feeding the very passion that bound us together. The irony was bitter and sweet, each kiss covering the scars of deception I painted with my words. "Why do you always hesitate before giving in to me?" he whispered once, breath hot against my ear. I swallowed, lips trembling. "Because you feel like everything I shouldn't want, yet all I can't let go." That was the truth hiding between lies. But passion doesn't care for reason. That night, He kissed me so hard, I felt my excuses collapse like sandcastles under a rising tide. And in the middle of it, while his lips devoured mine, I thought, what if he ever discovers the real cost of these stolen moments? Somewhere in that storm of touch and betrayal, I realized, secrets don't just stay buried. They kiss back. They demand repayment. And one day, someone always collects. Sparkles, before I dive deeper, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it if you're feeling the intensity of this story. Your support keeps me brave enough to confess what many would never dare say aloud. The hotel room that night was drenched in golden city lights spilling through the half-open blinds. I remember the way his shadow leaned over mine, his breath close, his hands exploring me like I was the very oxygen he needed to survive. I can't stop wanting you, he whispered, his lips grazing my ear. And truth? Neither could I. It was dangerous, fiery, reckless. Every kiss felt like a flame licking at dry wood, ready to consume us both. His body pressed against mine, desperate and unrelenting, while my heart pounded with equal parts fear and hunger. If you're listening right now, take a moment. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with someone who secretly knows what it feels like to crave what they should never have. Because this is more than just my confession, it's an anthem of forbidden desire. That night, his desire burned us. His kisses scorched, his hands demanded, his eyes pleaded. I thought I was strong enough to balance passion with secrecy, but I wasn't. Because while his fire consumed me, my betrayal quietly brewed. I wasn't only lying to my husband anymore, I was lying to him, too. He thought he was my only sin, my only guilty escape. But the truth? I had let someone else in, another flame flickering in the shadows. When he finally found out, oh, the devastation in his eyes still haunts me. The man who once burned me with his desire was left broken, gutted by my betrayal. And that's where everything changed. Midway through telling this, I need to remind you, don't just watch silently. Hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and leave a comment below. Your support keeps me brave enough to keep confessing. His desire burned us. My betrayal broke us. And in that clash of fire and ashes, I realized, sometimes the real danger isn't in being caught. It's in losing the only person who made you feel alive. Do you want me to carry this into a powerful romantic plus lustful final chapter, chapter 5, where she reflects on everything, her craving, her betrayal, and why she's still anonymous, but addicted to telling it? I used to believe fire could keep me warm forever. His fire. His hands, his lips, his body pressed against mine in the stolen hours of the night. It was an inferno I willingly surrendered to, over and over again. But no fire burns without consequence, and now I'm standing in the smoke of everything we once were, choking on what's left. If you've been with me since the first chapter, you already know I promised to tell you my story without filters. So before I go on, don't forget, subscribe to this channel, hit that like button, and share this story with someone who craves the raw truth about love, lust, and betrayal. Now, let me take you into the moment that finally broke me. It was supposed to be another night like the others. Another hotel room with dim lighting, another glass of red wine staining my lips as his fingers traced the edge of my dress. His kiss landed heavy, urgent, like he was still hungry for me after all these weeks of us meeting in shadows. And I wanted him just the same, every nerve in me screamed for his touch, for that addictive rhythm of his desire. But when our bodies tangled on the sheets, my lies came rushing in. My husband's voice, my vows, the promises I once whispered in another man's ear, all of it clashed with the heat of his breath on my skin. I felt torn between two worlds, one where I was the loyal wife, and another where I was nothing but his secret fire. And then it happened. He looked at me, really looked at me. Past the lust, past the sweat on my skin, straight into my trembling soul. "Who do you belong to?" he asked. I froze. My lips parted, but no sound came out. That silence was my betrayal, louder than any confession. He pulled away, his body still burning, his eyes cold. "You'll never choose me, will you?" Tears stung my eyes as I reached for him, but he stood, gathering his clothes like a man waking from a fever. Maybe we were only meant to be desire, he whispered, not love. And just like that, he left. The hotel door closed, and with it, the life I had built in secret collapsed. His desire had burned us alive, but it was my betrayal, my lies, my cowardice, that broke us completely. Now, I sit here in the quiet, replaying every stolen kiss, every moan, every lie I told to keep the fire alive. I still ache for him. My body still remembers. My heart still beats his name when I'm alone. But the truth? Desire is a fire that consumes, and betrayal is the wind that turns it into ashes. So here I am, confessing to you, strangers who listen in silence. I am anonymous, but my story is real. If you felt every word, every shiver, every heartbreak, don't forget, like this video, subscribe for more true confessions, and share this with someone who knows the cost of forbidden love. Because maybe, just maybe, my story will keep someone else from burning the way I did. Fire. His hands once set my body ablaze, his lips once carried me into forbidden heavens, and his desire burned us brighter than anything I had ever known, but it was my betrayal that shattered us, leaving nothing but ashes of what could have been. Broken heart, I still taste him in every stolen breath, still ache when the night gets too quiet, and still wonder if the fire we made was worth the scars it left behind. Sparkles, my secret is my burden, and my confession is now yours. Kiss mark if you felt my story, if my lust, my mistakes, and my craving for something more touched you in any way. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who believes in love, lust, and the lessons that come with betrayal. Because sometimes, the most unforgettable romances are the ones that leave us broken. And maybe, just maybe, you'll see a piece of yourself in mine.